Hey everyone, I'm Luke and welcome back to the channel. And I'm recording this intro after the bulk of the video because, yeah, being a genius, I forgot to do that at the start, which would have made sense. But what you're going to see in this video is me wading through about 23, 24 kilograms of bulk Lego to see if I can get some of the bulk that I need to advance the ScaleX Brick project. And yeah, you can probably guess by that I posted a picture of like Eureka, it's all done, that I didn't, but it's all a learning process and I did find some intriguing bits in it, so I'll cover that off in this video and I'll give you an update on the ScaleX Brick project. So stay tuned, and I'll also cover off cleaning off the parts, which if you've watched any of my previous videos, you probably think I don't do, but I will try and show otherwise in this video. I'm waiting for a day when I don't have to pop in and out to do some retro brighting, so I'll cover that off and we'll deal with all the bricks that you've seen that are a bit yellowed, because that's just something that's overdue and I need to get it done. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you at the end. So here's one of the bulk lots that I've bought. Now what I'm going to do is, I've already had a quick glance at it and it doesn't look too bad in terms of cleanliness. Now anything that I decide I'll keep, I'll give another wash at the end. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sift through it and I'm going to sort it into things that I need to keep to enable the project, and anything that's broken will go in the bin. But anything else, whether it's Lego bricks that I don't need to use or alternative brick brands, I will repackage those and I will send those off to a local charity shop so that they can try and get a bit of money out of it. So it's going to take me quite a while. This is just the tip of the iceberg, but wish me luck, and if I find any treasures, I will show you them along the way. So I've made a start already. So this box and this bag here, I've been through and I've pulled out the parts that I think are going to be useful. There's still some mixed brands in there, but everything's reasonably clean. There's some good stuff in there that I think that if a kid picks it up from a charity shop, they'll have a great time building. But because of space constraints, I'm just having to be ruthless now with what I keep and what I don't keep. And if it's not going to help me push forward the ScaleX Brick project, then I can't hang on to it. So there's still a lot to do. I've got this box yet to do. That's quite a big one. And then the beast there, there's absolutely tons to do in there. So I'll show you what I've been working through. So this is what I've decided to try and keep out of it. So plenty of angular plates at different degrees. These will need another wash before they go on the finished build, but this is what I need to make up the sort of curves of the track. So you can see how that's creating that more organic looking angle. And there's a few other things that I found as well. So there's going to be a bit of a track side on the mock as well. So things like that are going to be really valuable. I found this, which I think will be a good prop for the finished build as well. I think, is this Fabuland piece? I'm not sure. If you know, let me know. And I found these as well, which I don't know if the stickers are original, but I'll check because I've got a few of the old Egyptian themed, desert themed sets. So it would be good to try and get those complete and maybe build those out into a mock. So what I'm going to do is I've got this tub to sort through next. So I'll update you as I find any treasures in there, but otherwise I'm going to get comfortable, get a can of a cold beverage, and I'll crack on and I'll see you soon. Yeah, well done, Luke. Now everybody thinks you went to get a can of lager when it's just a can of Pepsi. So I've cropped this heavily. The end result that you're seeing here was actually a couple of hours worth of work, and I've sped it up to about 6 times. So any remaining footage is, well, it's about 6 seconds to represent a minute, and I've probably binned about 75% of the footage to try and spare you. So yeah, if it looks repetitive, that's sort of because it is, unfortunately. The best way I could figure out in the end to sift through all this Lego was just to use my hands as a shovel, look through the parts that were in there, and then sift them off into the boxes and bags that we're going to go off to charity ultimately. I think some useful pieces have probably slipped the net, but you know, that's a good cause, so I don't mind that. And ultimately I was going to have to go and raid Pick a Brick anyway. So yeah, enjoy what's left of the time lapse, and I'll catch up with you in real time shortly. So we found some really fascinating stuff in this, well, in these couple of bulk lots. I'll start from left to right. There was a 48 by 48 base plate, which was unexpected. I did nearly chop it in half when I was cutting the box open, so it wasn't a millimetre or two wider, and otherwise that'd have been a disaster. So that's good. I'll see how the geometry of Scalextric brick lines up for that. If that works well, then maybe more. Now, a classic base plate. So this is from Sphinx Secret Surprise and maybe one other I forget the name of. And it looks like, apart from being mucky, it's in great condition. There's no cracks or anything underneath. That should clean up quite well. There's also these Egyptian plates and a couple of thematic tiles, which are great because I do have it in mind to do an themed adventurers mock at some point. Won't be a massive one, but nevertheless, having these parts on standby is going to be great. So now let's get to it. So how did I fare, and I'm dropping pieces, how did I fare with finding what I need to get the Scalextric corner done? So I found all sorts of different angle pieces actually. This, which I think is part of a cockpit assembly, and I've got various different angles of wedge plates, the stud long ones, and I also found one or a couple of these, which I'm not sure how I'll utilise, but it's always good to have some options to fall back on. I think this is going to be very interesting. This offers an angle between the standard cut plate and the normal straight Y8 plate, so that could be very useful. I know there's only one of them, but if it lets me figure out the thing I need to sort out the geometry, then that's going to be perfect. So I think if I was to pull out and say, did the bulk lots pay for themselves? No, arguably not. But what I will do is I'll be as good to my word and I will send the rest of it to charity. So there's absolutely tons there. There's got to be about 23, 24 kilograms. Most of it is Lego, and it's been really fascinating to see the blend of what's been in there. So I pulled out a few of the things that I've recognised from my youth and some things that I don't as well. So when I was growing up, the catalogue to look at, or you could go into Toys R Us and have a look, and I was never aware that, you know, the theme's a subset of Western that is Indian. Now, I know that's highly controversial and you never go near that with a barge pole these days, but it's very interesting to see things have come from. That's a rival brand, so I didn't talk about that like a learned person. But so there is a lot of castle themed in here, so the Lion Dragon Knights, a lot of, then we moved to pirates, so Imperials there, I think that's a Magisto torso. I've never seen so many shields in one bulk lot, and I've never seen so many of these old pirate flags actually intact, and all the clips are in great condition. It's quite yellowed, but these things can be restored. Old classic castle doors, they're in the different sizes. So I've got it in mind to use these for another mock as well, a more story driven one that I'm looking to do in, I don't know, probably about a year's time, I think, when I've sharpened my editing skills and my building skills have come on a distance. So I don't think it was a wasted exercise, and it has given me ideas about how I could progress the Scalextric project. So I'm quite happy with how it's gone. What I'll do next is I'll get all this cleaned up, and hopefully the next thing you'll see is me experimenting and get functioning corner right. So fingers crossed. So I thought I'd just give you a little bit of an insight into the cleaning process. So I've already done the container, just give that a good scrub with some hot soapy water. And I'm just going to do the same with the rest really. You don't need to do anything fancy. I've given the base plates a good scrub, so they're nice. And the Adventurers base plate has come up a treat. So that's some actual printing in there. I thought that was something stuck to it. That's good as new, so I'm delighted with that. So I'm going to let that air dry now, and what I'm going to do with the bulk that I've decided to retain, I'm just going to submerge it in this hot soapy water. give it a good rummage around. Don't be afraid for the water to be quite hot, because that's what's going to loosen up all the oils and all the muck on the Lego itself. So I'm going to leave that for about half an hour or so, come back, give it a swizz around, and then I'll rinse it off and I'll spread it across a towel dry, and then once that's dry we can do a bit of experimenting. So it's Saturday today. I think that should be dry by tomorrow, and hopefully tomorrow evening I'll be able to do some experimenting and hopefully still be able to get some progress shown to you all by the end of the weekend. So now it's the next day. The Lego's dried off and I've put it back into the storage tub that it came in. So I'll just show you how the base plates came out. The old Adventurers base plate is looking tremendous now. I'll bring it into shot. Like I said, there's no cracks or anything on the underside of there. A little bit of marking, but this thing's best part of 30 years old. And that's looking awesome. So the other two base plates came out just as good. So I'll look forward to seeing what use I can get out of those in the future. But I'll put those to the side for the moment. And what we're focusing on right now is the parts that were salvaged out of the bulk lot. To see whether I can get a working corner pulled together, specifically out of the wedge pieces, but likely these angular plates. Now, I did have another go at getting a working section put together because I realised that the brick-built pillars that I was creating just weren't working. So I tried a Technic approach and it still sags, to be honest. So I don't know what happened to the end of that audio clip there, but I will chalk that one up to me still learning how to edit and probably discarding it. What I'm doing now is I am replacing the pillars that I was building by bricks. I worked out that instead of the 10 bricks that I was using, the 2x2x10 lattice towers are so much cheaper. So they're the approach that I'm going to be using for the outside of the two lanes going forwards. I've got quite a few of them that I've just received in a bulk lot. Probably not enough to do the full build, but I'll see how I get on. So what I'm doing now is I'm using the various shape of wedge plates to try and figure out how best to get the angle for the outside lane. And that aeroplane wing piece that I alluded to earlier is going to come in a lot more valuably than I thought it was going to. So much so that I've ordered about 200 of them on Pick-a-Brick, which should be with me in the next couple of days. So as you're seeing this, I should be taking delivery of them the next day or so. This will probably be the last time that I show you the work in progress on the corner module before it's actually just done, because I don't want to bore you to death with repetition, but I'll show you the finished object when it's done. So cut forward a couple of seconds to me showing you where I got to. Well, it's ugly as anything, but I've done a bit of tinkering after signing off on the last recording that I did, and I think I've only gone and figured it out. Geometry, that is. So I'm really pleased with this outer curve now. If I hover over, it lines up quite well. So ignore that, that's just a placeholder for now, because I need more of these aeroplane pieces, because that curvature there is exactly what I need. And I think the big revelation apart from that was figuring out that these needed to be 5 studs wide rather than 4. I was trying to force the geometry and it just wouldn't work. So now I need to do a rather substantial Pick-a-Brick order, and then I can advance. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for sticking with me. I've learned quite a lot even just during the process of putting this video together about editing and sound quality and so on. So I'm hoping that my next video will show some of the learnings from that. But again, thank you. I really appreciate your time, and any advice you've got is always welcome. So I hope you have a great rest of your day, and hopefully see you next time.